Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and this is the recap review for Put a Ring on It. Had to go ahead and take those off because it's going to be a distraction. So I'm just like, might as well go ahead and do it now. Anyway, this is the recap review for Put a Ring on It. And if you have not done so already, please subscribe to my channel. And if you like what you have been seeing, please thumbs up the videos as well. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. So it started where it left off last time. Everybody is talking to Dr. Nicole. They've discussed their dates and, whether or not they are going to go on a second, third, fourth, or whatever date with these people. To make a long story short, everyone except Smoke and Alexia are going to be going out on dates again with the people who they last went out on dates with, whether it was 2 times, 4 times, 3 times, or whatever. Smoke already know what it's hidden for, so that's why he is trying to break things off. If there's any truth to what we saw as a part of the actual preview for this week, then y'all, I haven't seen this entire episode. I saw like the first 15 minutes and that's it. So I'm gonna be just as shocked as y'all if it actually does end up being what it is. And I ain't gonna get into that right now. So whether it happens or not, before I get to the all the way into this video, I'm gonna bring it up. So anyway, yeah. So since Alexia has decided that she's not gonna go out on a date, she's going to have to use this week to just have some me time, reflect on the relationship, and, figure some things out. Everybody's assignment, whether they are going out on dates or not, is to decide and, talk with one another as far as, your partners are concerned and discuss the future and what marriage looks like for them. All right, y'all. So it was kind of, sometimes it's painful to watch Sean interact and go over how everything went for him as far as his dates are concerned, because almost every episode he's like, I've never cheated on her. I've never been faithful in a relationship until I was with LaRonda. And I'm like, I am so glad. And this is not shade or none of that. I am so glad. But a part of the process is you going out on these dates. And if you cannot somehow divert your yearning desires that somehow and sometimes arise and cause you to cheat, then it is what it is. That means you aren't learning from the process. You should be able to say, you know what, yes, this is a nice looking person, whatever, and that's the end of it. A lot of people somehow cannot allow a simple compliment or just saying, oh, that's a nice looking person. They can't let that just be a fleeting thought and that's it, and put all of their time and energy into the person that they're with. So I feel like if he can learn to channel that energy, he'll be all right. But he just be doing the most. But it's to the point that after they left the place, Sean and LaRonda are on their way home or wherever they're going after. And she was like, well, I noticed that every time you have a date with these women, you have an amazing time with them. And it's like, basically, if you went with me, you would be with them or have something to do with them or whatever. And I'm like, yeah. And it's like when he answered and said that he does want to go out on a date with this woman again, she was looking like, and I'm like, ma'am, why are we doing this? It's a part of the process. Like, everybody knows it's a part of the process. Like, and it's like, don't come at him like, well, it seems like you've enjoyed yourself. Like, he was like, I don't need to date with these heifers. And it's like, yeah, there could be more if she would allow herself, if he would allow himself, excuse me, because I was thinking about her, to go there. And he is constantly making sure that he's like, I have something amazing at the house. But I'm hoping that he's taking bits and pieces of what he is learning and the things that he's experiencing while he's out on these dates with these folks and taking it home to apply it to his relationship. Y'all, so anyway, Jessica and Eric are at the house. He is getting ready for his date with the heifer Leilani. Let me stop. I know that every now and again there are people who are on these shows and they come across these videos. I'm not trying to be mean. I just say heifer for just about everybody because I don't curse. So I just say heifer. But anyway, ain't no disrespect, Leilani, if you just so happen to come across this video, because I've had people to come across my videos before and say stuff. I mean, usually it hasn't been bad. The only time it was like negative and like crazy was when Alex from Ready to Love, his mama tried me for no reason. But I digress. So anyway, so Leilani is gonna come over to the house, and Jessica was like, well, I'm always the one who's in the hot seat. This time I'm gonna turn the tables. And so she ended up, offering them up shots and shot glasses that had her plastered all over them. And I was like, okay. And like, she just kind of like basically seemed like she did what he does to her and put her in the hot seat. Put both of them in the hot seat. Was like, oh, what y'all got going on? Oh, what y'all gonna do these? And he was just like, I can't believe she's acting like this. And I'm like, why? You do the absolute most, but you don't never tell her all the foolishness that you be doing on these dates. Like, I'm just trying to understand. She was saying in the confessional that she overheard Leilani say to him, like, kind of whispered to him and was like, you didn't tell me she was this cute. And she was like, honey, what else did you expect? I was like, ma'am. Ma'am. So basically she starts asking her questions, and she was like, oh, what do you do? And all this other stuff. And so instead of just playing it cool, Jessica was like, oh, well, if an appointment is going to get booked, it's going to be me booking the appointment because, I do everything around here. Like, it was like she just had to let it be known that I'm his woman. And I'm like, you shouldn't have to try to overcompensate like that. But who am I? Whatever. So anyway, Smoke and Alexia are at the house, and they're having their moment where they're discussing the assignment. And we find out that Smoke did not have that great of an upbringing as far as seeing certain role models. Like, he didn't see that type of, oh, okay, this is what you look at if you want to get married. This is something that I can look at and be like, oh my gosh, I would love to be married someday, because I know that that's what I would have to look forward to, if not better. But Alexia, on the other hand, she has seen mainly amazing marriages thrive, and that's why she is so like adamant about getting married and being married, and she feels like it'll be an amazing thing. And for him, he's kind of scared of it. It's like, on one hand, he seems like he wants to get married, but not really. And he was like, yeah, my grandparents, they were married for a long time or whatever, but they have the physical and emotional and mental scar. I was like, physical? See, I cannot deal with somebody beating on me, and I can't. That's the one thing that the Lord blessed me with. I might have been raped and molested and all this other stuff, but I've never been in a relationship where somebody was beating on me and knocking my teeth down my throat and all that other stuff. I'm just glad I'm not a domestic violence survivor like that. I probably would have really gone over the edge, because I've had moments where I have thought of doing some things to myself that I shouldn't have those thoughts. But I have been tried in my life, y'all. But anyway, so they're discussing all this stuff. They're doing their tasks. So I'm like, oh, okay. And he making it seem like, oh, everything is great. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, what we saw does not seem as if y'all are in a great place. And she's feeling the same way. And I'm like, how are y'all in a great place? She over here talking about, oh, he's more romantic. And I'm just like, I wonder if he's doing all of this as a reaction to what he's been doing, because he's been out here fighting and bopping. Unless, again, this was something that production put out there to make us think was going on, but it was just a lie. I don't know. And before I forget, he keep talking about maybe a baby needs to come into play. And I'm saying to myself, if you're doing the most now and you ain't even got no baby by her, you'll be to set up here and knocked her up and then left her with the baby whenever you get mad and go to the studio. Like, no, ain't nobody got time. So Jessica called Dr. Nicole over because she wanted to discuss how he puts her in the hot seat and all this other stuff, and they still have trust and communication issues. And I'm just like, I don't understand why y'all together. I don't understand. I don't understand. It's gotten to a point where she needs to understand whether or not he is trying to hurt her or not. And I think she feels like, no, I don't think he's trying to hurt me, but it's happening. I'm still being hurt. And then, like, every time they sit and meet up again after these dates have happened, he says some of the most, like, hurtful things. Like, if I were in a relationship with somebody and they said this stuff to me, and it's like, dang, I'm supposed to be your person. And this is how you feel? And you doing all this, you setting it off while you're on these dates with these other people. Like, that's not making sense to me. I would be very upset. So there are times that I can, definitely sympathize with what she's saying, because that really, a lot of the times, a lot of stuff that he says really is a slap in the face. And I'll be like, no. But like I said before, I don't understand why they're together. I honestly feel like when they first got together, it was because she looked how she looked, and he makes and or made the money that he was making as a football player. In all honesty, I really feel like when the cameras cut and stop rolling, he'd be like, yeah, I played for, did he play for the Atlanta Falcons or somebody? He played for somebody. He was like, yeah, I did this. And then that makes people be like, ooh. And I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I really feel like Smoke be doing the same thing. If he hadn't already told these people that, he'll tell them, and they'd be like, oh, like, people's ears perk up when stuff like that is divulged. I ain't got time for it. Well, there was a moment when they were in the middle of their session where Jessica revealed that she had been bullied. Excuse me, y'all. When she was in school, and like people talked about her hair type, her skin color, like all the typical things that people do, and she has issues with it to this day, and it's just a lot that she internalizes, and also she doesn't realize that the way that she behaves is exactly the way he behaves. And it's to the point where even Dr. Nicole was like, but what you telling me in this moment is exactly what I saw you do. The first time I saw it happen within y'all's relationship was when you did it. And I remember the day. And you were like, oh, he lying. And it's like, it's crazy because a lot of times, sometimes we don't notice what we're doing because somebody else is doing it. And it's so easy to pinpoint it because you do it all the time. But it's like, it's just to a point where you are so used to doing it and you are so used to defending yourself that you think it's the other person doing something when it's you. Now, I don't know if y'all understood that or not, but I'm just saying it is what it is. Hopefully y'all understood it. But yeah, I found that to be very interesting. And it is sad that a lot of people do that. You get to a point where whether you love a person or not, you are so used to fighting with them. And you're like, you basically say to yourself, all right, I'm gonna fight with them the same way they fight with me. And it's tit for tat, just like Jessica said. That's crazy, y'all. That is crazy. And like I told y'all before, I don't see their relationship like going nowhere serious, like down the road of marriage, because they don't trust each other at all. There is no good communication. He lives for everybody he go out on dates with. And it's like he puts them up here and she all the way down here somewhere. So I don't see it. Sean went out on his date and they had an amazing chemistry. But in his confessional, you can tell that when they do all link up again, he gonna be like, nah, to another date. And if he doesn't, I'll be shocked. Because he's just like, look, everything's great. I have enjoyed my time with these people, but I just want to enjoy dating my queen. I was like, oh, okay. So his date was like, I am enjoying this process because I'm glad to know up front what's going on, because in the past I have been pretty much in the same predicament, except that the dudes didn't tell me that they already had a woman at the house, and it just was what it was. And it was just like, come on now, that's infuriating. Eric is out on his date with Leilani, and she is very touchy-feely, and he is allowing it, and he living for it, and I'm just like, but then you want to question your woman. You want to hold her feet to the fire. You want to just do the absolute most at every waking moment when she get home from her dates. I just don't understand. Um, but yeah, they, talking, and she made it clear that her services would only be for him. This ain't no, oh, she booking it and both of them coming. If she's gonna be providing any type of servicing, it's just gonna be for him. I'm just like, whoo, child, you doing the most. And he tried to play it out also, oh, she very touchy feely, and I have to remember I have a woman at home. It's like, really? Really? You just now thought of that after how many people have you been out on dates with? You finally realizing that, like, I can't. So anyway, I'm just like, ugh, whatever. I can't. Like I told y'all before, I really wish that they would show these people on these dates. I wish they had random moments where, and not necessarily every single episode, where they will reveal that these people doing the most on these dates. Especially when people doing the most on these dates. Like, he be doing the most. So Dr. Nicole met up with only the guys, and they were talking, and she was trying to help them to understand that, again, they are the ones who control the temperatures in their relationships. You could say something crazy, and then that makes the situation hot, or you could do what you need to do and say things that can smooth the situation over, even if it might be a heated debate, and it'll just cool it right on out. But Sean, he keeps letting us know that he is very emotional, and he doesn't know if, well, I guess LaRonda kind of makes him feel like he doing too much, and that he kind of is just bringing way too much attention to stuff and just overthinking stuff, because he'll get overly emotional, and she feels as if he overshares. But I feel like that's his way of proving to her, hey, I'm not cheating. I want you to continue to trust me, because you are the first person that I've been with who I haven't cheated on. And so, to kind of piggyback off of what was said as far as that was concerned, she had to let them know that it's okay for you to get emotional as men. The problem is, a lot of people, especially black men, have grown up in environments where they have been told that black men don't have feelings. You can't hurt, you can't show emotions / weakness. You know what I'm saying? That's what they love to my weakness, but they don't want, you shouldn't cry. Black men don't cry. Black men don't do this. Black men don't share feelings and all this other stuff. And that's not the way it should be. That's why a lot of people are exactly in the predicaments that they're in now, because they keep everything bottled up on the inside, because they have been told and conditioned to believe that that is the way of the world, when it's not. Well, a lot of the conversation was geared towards Darian / Smoke. Let me just say Smoke. I'm saying Darian because everybody in the room kept saying Darian. But y'all know I'm going to call him Smoke. But anyway, so she was talking to Smoke, and he eventually was like, I want to talk to you and get you to help me to figure out what I need to do. And I basically, it seems as if he was trying to ask her to kind of coach him in the direction that he needed to go in, so that he can go on ahead and ask Alexia to marry him. And it's like, if you don't want to marry her, then you don't. If you don't want to get married, then you don't want to get married. Like, ain't nothing I can say. You've been with her for 14 years on and off. You should know by now. Like, you should know what you want to do. And he all in the confessional saying the stuff he's saying, but ultimately it's like he's saying whatever gonna make her happy is what he want to do. And it's like, no, it's about both of y'all. Like, are you gonna instantly feel like, oh no, I have this ball and chain now because I'm proposing to her? And Alexia had already told him off rip, if I don't have a ring by the end of this process, I'm gone. And Dr. Nicole had to let him know that's her prerogative, and she has a right to do so. She ain't got to stay in the cycle of this foolishness if she don't want to. She done put up with way too much. You done had 2, 3, 4 kids. He done had like 3 kids since they've been together. She ain't had the first child by him. And the fact that I don't understand why people think a baby is going to make a relationship better. No, where y'all get that from? I don't be understanding where people get that from. That's just that ends up being one more thing that's added to your plate that's already overfilled. So I just was like, whatever. So anyway, she just let everybody know that, they got to come to their own conclusions and figure out what they're going to do, because, you know what I'm saying, they are the ones that are in the relationships. and it is what it is. So Dr. Nicole ended up leaving, and they, kind of talked amongst themselves. And Darian, I don't know, I smoke. Y'all, it's just, at this point, I feel like Sean and LaRonda are probably going to be the only ones that's going to seriously make it. Like, to me, they are the only couple there that has the best chances of making it for real and not putting on airs for the TV show. And then as soon as it's over with, we see something at the end talking about some, yeah, they were together. And then when they got home, whatever, after the show ended, after they wrapped for the season, this is what happened. Like, no. And I would like, look, I'm going to see if we get to it, because hopefully they bring it up in a few minutes, because it's almost over. So we going to see. So we are at the end of the episode, and Darian is meeting up with Kai, and the greeting was off. And we learned that the greeting was off because Darian has not spoken to, seen, had any type of communication with Kai within the last 10 days. And so he was just like, oh, okay. So she was like, okay, so what is we got going on over here? What's going on? Because you ghosted me. I ain't heard from you in 10 days. And so he was like, well, I've been, doing what I need to do for my relationship. I've been making sure that I've been present, making sure I'm all in Alexia's face. I'm doing what I need to do for my relationship. And so she was like, I don't understand. Like, why couldn't you get by yourself and let me know what it was? Like, you could have got by yourself and said something instead of making me look like I'm crazy out here. Child, they going back and forth, and like she just eating and drinking and just like, okay, whatever, I'm just waiting for you to just say what you need to say. And apparently he needs to be taking all sorts of accountability, because she's just like, look, I don't understand what is going on, because I mean, we had amazing sex. Like, are you having this issue? Like, you trying to make it seem like things are so much better now with you and Alexia, but are you avoiding me, and now you want to cast me to the side, and you didn't know how to, handle the situation because the sex was so amazing? And so he didn't really have nothing to say to that. And I'm just like, woo, child. Yeah, they pretty much ended it on that note, because she looking like cheers to closure. Well, we're going to see that the preview from next week is showing us that Eric and Jessica are not in a great place, like I already keep telling y'all, because nah. And of course, Darian / Smoke and Alexia. They had Alexia doing somewhat of a voiceover talking about she hasn't seen him since he cheated on her. And I don't know if he's just been out of the house and he actually went home and told her what went down. But the first time that they're going to see each other, from what I can gather from the preview, is when she enters the house and he's already in there. And Dr. Nicole is going to ask him, is there something that he want to say to her? And I mean, you can look at her like in total, you can look at her like from head to toe and tell she is over it, she done, she is hurt. Everything that you can think of somebody who is over it and tired in their spirit and going, they're just sick and tired of going through. That's how she looked. Like her body language and everything. She really is sitting there like this. Like she ain't here for nothing. Child, it's about to be rough. Anyway, I'll be back in a few minutes, y'all.